Do you think, Mr. Coker, that is a real situation, and should this be the focus of the discussion currently as far as this is concerned?
Well, let me say good morning to your esteemed viewers. You know, I don't think this is a new development. Over the years, we've had these finished products coming in, being of inferior quality. You know, there was a situation where petrol is supposed to be lead-free. I think that has disappeared on the market. Right? When we were doing our own refinery, or when we were importing finished products, the standard was very, very high, right? So that most countries will not allow you to bring in non-lead-free fuel. But of these days, I mean, if you look at the scent that emanates from fuel.
That's why, right?
Yeah, you could see that. I mean,
because you buy fuel, you smell it in your car for about 50 kilometers.
You have to open the windows.
Yes.
If you make a mistake of filling your tank with your windows down, right, and when you start going, you can't sit in the car.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, and that is it's very cancerous, you know. So this is a very serious matter that we should quickly, the NPA and all the bodies that are entrusted with looking at what type of fuel comes in, must quickly take note of it and act accordingly. I mean, these days people are getting away with murder. Like you said, I mean, the fumes on the roads, because of this kind of quality of petrol, is alarming, and it's good that somebody has brought this to the attention of the public, and we must all be very careful about it, and also ensure that the right thing is done. I mean, because of profit margins, people just go in and bring anything that the other part of the world does not want. They come and dump it here, and this is our problem. I mean, we become a dumping ground for all manner of things. You go to what do you call it, environmental protection people have been asking fridges that are not supposed to, that are out of usage, being dumped into this country. Roland, I think we have a lot of problems on our hand. Really, really. The Ghanaians, and this is the attitude of Ghana, those who are importing these things are Ghanaians. And they should have known better that when you bring this kind of fuel in the system, you are not only harming us, but you are also increasing the health bill. And then it becomes a vicious circle. You know, we are trying to cut down on a lot of things, but then we end up having to spend more to cure the ailment that people, because of profit, have dumped on us.
And following that, we've had concerns even being raised by the workers of TOR, and especially even some experts on the subject. And they feel that perhaps there's some level of collusion by members of the BDCs, so to speak.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, these guys are probably only interested in making profits. And adulterated fuel that comes to this country is very cheap. But then when it comes here, because of the situation that we're having, they make a lot of bucks on them. So whoever is in charge of making sure that this thing is nip in the bud must be up and doing. Must be up and doing, because, I mean, like you said, just go to the filling station this morning and fill your tank and just drive off. You end up having to smell.
Because I've had some experiences before, and with my company, we do a lot of monitoring, and we assume that, well, perhaps if you travel out of Accra, that's when you tend to have those experiences.
Yeah, and it's rampant outside Accra.
Yes,
when we are driving.
But but there have been these particular times that we experienced it, and when we came to Accra, we decided to top up. And then we felt the same scent. Yeah. You know, the scent was coming in, so we're wondering. And it can be with you for, let's say, an hours on end, especially when you're in an air-conditioned vehicle.
That's true.
Because then you may have rolled.
And like you said, it's even dangerous outside, because that place there are no controls. So if you are unlucky to have fuel shortage on the way out of Accra, so if in Accra you're having that kind of problem, then you can imagine when you're out of Accra. So it's a very serious issue that the NPA should really
try and investigate.
Try and investigate. You know.
Okay, and we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll be inviting into the studio Fred Amankwasafo. He is a member of the MPP, and he will be joining Adekoka so that we do the discussions on the AM show. Do stay on. When we come back, we'll be continuing our discussions. Studio Fred Amankwasafo. He's a member of the MPP. Thanks for joining me. And we had commenced discussions on investigations being undertaken by the Chronicle, and also I think a subsequent rebuttal just in defense of the Tema refinery and the BDCs by the Chronicle. That seemed to give an indication that the BDCs seem to be importing inferior fuel quality in the country, and this is all to the cost of the states. And the toll laboratory, the Chronicle gathered, has almost on daily basis been rejecting these inferior products because they fall below the acceptable octane levels. But directives are usually issued from the top management of the company to chemically treat the product at virtually no cost to the importers of the product. And a local unionized person or executive at TOR hinted that the cost of aviation turbine kerosene is higher in the country because it is imported at a high octane level without receiving further treatment at the refinery. And these, according to my own sources, too, have led to some shortages, especially for aviation fuel. Your comment on this very investigation?
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother, and then good morning to our viewers. I'm not surprised. With all, I mean, those of us who use vehicles would attest to the fact that for quite some time now, maybe over a period of about 6-7 months, you buy fuel and you feel the scent. Sometimes it's so much that you have to roll down your windows before you can even stay in the car. So it's not surprising. I think that fuel is a very expensive product in this country, but the world over, and so people would use all manner of tricks in order that they maximize profit. It's all about profit maximization. But the EPA and then the regulators would not assume that they don't know what is going on. And it's all about the Ghanaian mentality and let it go sort of attitude. And because it's a very huge capital intensive product, people underhand dealings go around. You can't let go. And so for me, I think that we should sit up as a nation, because the cost is not just to the individual, but the nation as a whole. We would tend to import more parts to fix our vehicles. We're going to lose a lot, even environmentally. The health implications of using adulterated fuel cannot be quantified. So we should all sit up and reject it. But where there's no product, you go to the filling station and you don't have it. Sometimes you go round in circles to get a product. If you get it and it is adulterated, you would let go, and then you can even count yourself lucky for getting the fuel. In the next few days, I'm sure, if we don't take time in this country, the government does not sit up to avoid what's going to happen, we might have a fuel shortage on our hands. So if you go around,
it's a subject. I think that's pure speculation, because over the last couple of days, before, I think even before the close of the last week, we had all these indications, and actually you go to some fuel stations, you get to find that they tell you there's no fuel, but there's we're told by the BDCs that there's abundant fuel.
We hope there is abundant fuel, but the fuel must be clean. We don't have to use adulterated fuel like we have in the system now. And if anybody tells me that they are not aware, then I would shudder to believe that. We need to do something.
What action do we need MPA to be taking on this very subject, especially when this has been a thorough investigation or an ongoing investigation by a credible newspaper like the Chronicle?
Roland, I mean, the measures are already there. This carries a lot of penalties. People who bring in that kind of fuel are sanctioned. You see, like my brother said, we can't come and sit here and claim that the authorities are not aware of it. They must be aware, because this has been happening for over a long period of time. We all attest the fact that when we sit in our cars, we have this.
These days, I mean, realistically, you buy fuel.
Yes, I mean, every morning.
It's very much centered.
Yeah, so they know, right? So if somebody is keeping a blind eye, right, it's not only hurting the nation, but, I mean, like you said, the environment, health, everything. So this morning, I'm sure it will have come to their notice, and they should be up and doing, going to the stations, find out who are bringing this kind of food, because there must be a paper trail. You know what type of fuel came in at what period of time, and that company should be held responsible. You know, if we just, like you said, oh, let's leave it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's very detrimental to all of us. Our engines, you know, I mean, the fumes, the environment, all over. We are grappling with cholera. Now, I mean, this can even add to Ebola if you are not very careful. Seriously. Seriously. So we need to be up and doing. NPA, EPA, this morning must come out and make a statement about this situation. We just shouldn't gloss over it and say that it will go away. It's not going to go away, because like people want to maximize profit, and as a result, they will bring in things that will make them make more money. And the BDAs of late are just becoming too powerful.
The BDCs.
BDCs, they are becoming too powerful. I mean, they can tell us that there's no fuel. They can tell us that the banks own them, nothing is coming in.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, but then that should not be a license for them to allow things that are going to destroy the fabric of society.
Fred, your last comment on the subject, then we'll move to typical party political news. And I know that your party will be in sharp focus.
But you see, in so long as we allow TOR to grapple with refining fuel in this country, this situation would persist. If we don't find homegrown solutions to our problem, those who are importing these products want to cut corners and make it up, especially where we have a government who does not seem to be on top of issues when it comes to importation of the products. People would find all manner of means. Now the cost is going to go higher. I'm sure that within the next few weeks or so, or even days, we might have to contend with increases in fuel prices. I hope it doesn't happen, because
are your sources telling you that
exactly that is the impression that we are getting. That is the
you and who?
Well,
you mean the MPP?
I'm not talking about MPP. I'm talking about me. The impressions and the signals that we are getting is that fuel prices is going to go up again, and for me, we're getting loans to do all manner of things.
But we need to get loans to subsidize.
But we not subsidize fuel. We need to look at TOR as an entity, and how the nation would gain if TOR is running 100% capacity. We have all the reasons, we have all the excuses why we are not going to allow TOR to run. But ask yourself, why should that be the case? Why should we take already refined products when we have a facility there that can refine our product for us? And these that are coming in, the products that are coming in adulterated, and without even being in a laboratory to test the efficacy or so of it. You can smell it, and that's not what we've been used to over the years, and something needs to be done.
He's brought up the subject of TOR again.
Yeah.
And we know that critically, when TOR is brought up, it's almost like a political subject.
Yes, yeah.
And it becomes a subject of what the priority should be, based on the cost that will be needed as far as the investment capitalization is to get it running at a full cost, or at its full capacity.
We're having a very good, decent conversation here, and my younger brother wants to bring politics into this. This has got nothing to do with TOR. TOR has got its own challenges. What you are talking about is that currently people are bringing a certain type of fuel which does not endure the benefit of all of us. Let's stick to that. We talk about TOR. We've been talking about TOR, and government has taken the necessary steps to revamp TOR. I mean, TOR has got so many challenges. It didn't start only yesterday. I mean, a lot of wastage, a lot of problems in TOR. During their time of when they were in charge of TOR, what happened to TOR? Nothing changed. When they left, nothing has changed.
But it doesn't mean that because during the MPP administration,
no, I don't want us to
reservedly.
I don't want us to go there. You know me and my politics. When we come here, we have to look at things holistically.
Yes, that's why you want to be nationalistic.
That's right. You see, so
but you're saying the MPP is not nationalistic.
No.
I might
You see.
I'll go there.
Now,